Sounds of wild boars have shattered the quiet nights of our village for weeks. The fields are no longer places of cultivation. They have turned into battlefields. And today, we hunters will bring this war to an end. Order must be restored. The campaign to reclaim the fields begins with a carefully coordinated plan. We split into 3 groups. 2 teams move along the slopes on either side of the valley, using noise and their presence to apply pressure, driving the beasts toward the path in the middle. We tracked them for days using surveillance cameras, so we knew exactly which routes they would take. My role, the lead marksman, was lying in ambush on a rocky hillside with a clear view down that familiar path. There it is! Will the team's coordination succeed? This shot is the culmination of tactics and unity, a determination to return peace to the fields and the farms at all costs. Meanwhile, on the western slope, Blake, the team's assault marksman, faced a situation of his own. He noticed an unusual rustling in the thick bushes ahead. With over a decade of experience, he knew exactly what was about to unfold, and just as predicted, dark shapes began to emerge. Blake could wait no longer. His rifle roared, unleashing a storm of bullets into their position. The herd panicked, scattering in a frantic rush, straight toward the trap we had carefully set. Blake's volume of fire turned the place into chaos like never before. Our battle-hardened hounds immediately gave chase, herding the wild boar straight toward the muzzle of my gun waiting on the hill. I waited for the lead boar, about 300 kilograms, to charge deeper into effective range. Closer, closer still. This is the moment! No chance for it. I pulled the bolt and chambered another round. The bullet of justice found its mark, putting an end to its stubborn resistance. It was a victory born of seamless coordination, where human intelligence and the hunting instincts of our dogs merged as one to protect the harvest. We knew the surviving boars had only one place left to hide, the fields down below. Seeing our neighbors' hard work trampled stirred our resolve into something steel-hard. This had to end, right here. Immediately, a few of the men fanned out, took up key positions around the perimeter, and turned the entire area into a cage with no escape. The hounds were released, and within minutes, their urgent barking announced they had found their quarry. A huge dark shape is charging out! It thought it had found a way out, but in truth, it was running straight into where our plan B was waiting. The wounded boar ran straight into the spot we wanted. James, the man executing Plan B, had been alerted and was waiting at the end of the road. When the lead boar, wounded, burst out of the reeds, the whole herd panicked and surged after it. A whole herd of boars was charging. Could he handle them alone? A crisp, well-placed shot felled the leader on the spot. One by one, they were taken down cleanly. He swore to God that no destructive beast would ever set foot on the fields again.
I'm ready.
James's final shot closed the main campaign, and the last rays of sunset were fading over the fields. We loaded the spoils onto the vehicle, but before heading back, the team conducted a final sweep of the entire farmland. That carefulness paid off. A few stubborn dark shapes were still prowling around. Could we finish the remaining work? With each gunshot, another dark shape dropped cleanly and precisely to the ground. This is how we get the job done, thoroughly, leaving no threat behind for the farmers. At last, the harvest on this land was safe and protected. In the hills where my uncle raises goats, the night is no longer peaceful. Wild boars have grown bold, sneaking down into the pens under the cover of darkness. They don't just tear through barbed wire fences, they maul the newborn kids. Patience had run out. It was time to act. Would we succeed in restoring order? Let's find out. We split into several small teams, each covering a known warpath. Boots gripped the damp soil. Radios crackled with final check-ins. Rifles were loaded. And from the back of our pickup truck, our pack of elite hounds was already howling, raring to go. My position was a dense bush right at a bend on the hillside trail. Fresh tracks and rootings told us it was a favored path. Below in the valley, the hounds had begun their push. Their barks rang out, fast and furious, driving the prey uphill, straight toward me. Then it happened. A shadowy shape emerged, scrambling through the bend. No hesitation. I pulled the trigger. As I approached, rifle still raised, I delivered a second finishing shot. Clean, precise, decisive. Out here, one bullet is one decision. You don't get a second chance. I was moving down the slope to regroup when I caught the faintest ruffle just above me. In a split second, instinct kicked in. I spun, rifle up, already aiming. The shot rang out almost simultaneously with the boar's appearance. The beast dropped where it stood. No movement, no second try. By noon, the heat was relentless. We had moved to a wide forest trail, the main corridor connecting two dense groves. Moments later, rustling, then chaos. A large boar burst from the brush. I locked on, calculated its path, and fired. Boom! Down it went, fast and clean. Gunfire erupted across the hills. Other teams were making hits too. The hunt was turning in our favor. The dogs led me into heavier brush. Tension was high. Every shadow, every twitch of a leaf pulled at my focus. Suddenly, movement! A massive boar charged the trail, breaking cover in desperation. But the only thing waiting for it was my smoking barrel. Following the trail of the hounds again, I encountered a few boars flushed into a small clearing. I fired, but their explosive speed saved them. They vanished into the opposite woods. We didn't back down. The hounds surged in, howling. Then, silence. They cornered it. I sprinted toward the location. I raised my rifle, picked a safe angle, and pulled the trigger. That echoing crack was the end of the intruder. Late afternoon, the sun dipped behind the hills. We pushed deeper for one last sweep. Then, just a whisper of a sound. A lone boar had broken off from the herd, hidden itself well, hyper alert. The moment it sensed danger, it bolted. But fate had other plans. It ran straight into my line of fire. One clean pull, and it was over. Elsewhere, our teams had taken down more stragglers. The hunt was complete. The once fertile fields now lay scarred and torn, evidence of a beast that doesn't go down easy. Locals whispered about a monstrous alpha boar, massive, aggressive, and feared by all. We rallied quickly, steel-eyed and dead set on a single goal: track it down and restore peace. But would our years of experience and tight teamwork be enough to conquer this unforgiving challenge? Follow our crew as we dive into one of the toughest hunts yet. No matter how cunning, wild boars follow the same beaten trails, moving from feeding grounds to the rugged slopes where they hide. We spotted the herd climbing slowly uphill and crept in close, eyes locked on our target. When the alpha emerged, I held my breath, lined up the shot, and squeezed the trigger. The bullet struck true. He dropped instantly. More shots rang out from the team, multiple targets down. The rest fled into the dense woods. This wasn't luck. It was the result of sharp tactics, tight coordination, and the ability to read the land and the prey like second nature. That's what gives us the edge, even on the roughest terrain. If that takedown impressed you, hit that like button. After hours of waiting in ambush, we'd barely sat down when word came in. A boar was moving at the base of the hill. We rushed into position. Suddenly, it charged, fast, furious, straight at us. I held my ground, focused, and took the shot. The bullet tore through, dropping it instantly. Under the blazing sun, I moved through the thick forest lining the hillside. Silent, careful, calculated. Then I saw it. One lone boar resting on the forest floor. I held my breath, steadied my scope, and pulled the trigger. One clean shot. No noise, no struggle. In moments like this, it's not just skill or luck. It's nerves of steel, patience, and battle-hardened experience. That's what sets true hunters apart. barrel hadn't even cooled when word came. The alpha boar had been spotted on the rocky hilltop. Then, it emerged from behind the rocks. I stayed calm, took aim, fired. A clean kill. The beast's massive body hit the ground with a final thud. No struggle, no sound, just stillness in the wild. To succeed, you need more than skill. You need grit, preparation, and the courage to walk alone where few dare to tread. As dusk crept in and we thought the hunt was over, 2 more boars appeared, racing across the slope. Eyes locked on, I tapped into every ounce of focus and experience to line up the perfect shot. Every detail had been checked. Rifle sighted, trigger set, timing perfect. Bang! Then bang again! Both targets down. The day's hunt ended not with relief, but with pride, precision, readiness, and steel nerves. That's what it takes to win in moments of life or death. At 4 a.m., I got a call from a familiar farmer. It's in the farm! Wild boars, creatures once hidden deep in the forest, now dare to show up right at the doorstep. They don't just wreck crops, they've grown cunning, dodging traps, avoiding dogs, and ready to attack without hesitation. We hit the road immediately, not to hunt, but to protect the community from this ever-approaching threat. Early morning, among the dew-soaked green grass, we arrive silently, eyes sharp, scanning for signs of the intruder. Freshly dug earth marks the path, clear evidence they left not long ago. Following the trail, the prey quickly reveals itself. I steady my scope. The shot rings out, a powerful opening salvo. The target goes down, fueling our confidence and fire, because a long battle still lies ahead. After a short tracking run, the trap device signals. Wild boars have arrived. We quietly move in on the ambush point and observe. Right in front of us, the prey is busy feeding, oblivious to the watchful eyes. No hesitation. I pull the trigger. The bullet leaves the barrel, ending the threat in a split second. Thanks to modern gear, we save time and energy and gain the upper hand in this tough fight against these clever, dangerous beasts. Knowing other traps might attract more boars, I signal the team to quickly spread out, check, and control these spots before the animals sense danger. Minutes later, sounds of success ring out. The operation is a blazing victory, and our haul exceeds expectations. On another front, Jenny, our only female sharpshooter, faces a tense fight. When the target appears near her ambush, she acts decisively. Her precise shot hits the prey, but it struggles deeper into the forest shadows. Seeing the shift, the whole team moves in deeper, hunting down the remaining ones. No chance for escape. Following fresh claw marks and clear rubs on tree trunks, we track the boars. Soon, shadows hiding behind dense brush reveal themselves, unable to escape our sight. Each shot, from afar to near, is accurate and final. Every squeeze of the trigger takes down a target. The area quickly falls under control, erasing the dark figures once lurking here. Just when it seemed over, we decide to push deeper into the forest, flushing out hidden threats. Knowing this beast's habits well, we're aware, behind those trees, dangers still lurk. Within minutes, one by one, targets emerge from behind trouble, all taken down cleanly without error. Forest is clear, and the locals can return to their daily lives, free from the shadows that once haunted the country. After years away, returning to my homeland was a mix of emotions. My heart sank when I saw the cassava fields. The very source of our livelihood had been devastated, as if a storm had swept through. Culprits? Wild boars. A resolve hardened in me. Order must be restored. The next morning, we, the hunters of the village, set off. Will peace ever return to this field? Join us to find out. After quickly discussing our strategy, the team took up their positions. We donned our specialized camouflage gear, laced up our boots, checked the radio signals one last time, and carefully loaded our rifles. Behind the truck, the trained hunting dogs were eager and ready to go. Everything was set for a long day of hunting. The early morning mist still clung to the trees. Our team had positioned ourselves along the hillside, forming an invisible trap, with a clear view of the open field below. Upon receiving the signal via the radio, we released the dogs into the forest below, while another team took their positions higher on the hill. The dogs would drive the boars toward us, waiting at the trap. The tension in the air was palpable. Through the radio, I heard my teammate report the direction the target was moving. Suddenly, a massive dark shape, the dominant male wild boar, charged from the edge of the forest. We waited patiently for it to come closer, then opened fire. The boar panicked and bolted up the hill, straight into my line of sight. Boom! It collapsed instantly. The first shot was a clear signal that order would be restored, no matter what. Not long after, the sounds of the dogs barking echoed from the hilltop. A few wild boars were being driven down a gentle slope in panic. This time, I was lying in wait halfway up the slope, hidden behind dense bushes near a familiar escape route boars instinctively used when attacked from above. When the lead boar entered my sights, I squeezed the trigger. The shot only made them more disoriented, causing them to instinctively turn back up the hill. "They're coming back! Get ready!" I shouted into the radio.
Geri döndüler baba, geri.
Soon, supporting fire from my teammates higher up intensified, and one by one, the wild boars fell, dropping under the precise barrage. We continued moving upward to a higher point to control the area. From the hilltop, I spotted another large dark figure moving cautiously below. This one was moving very carefully, a sign that it was an older, more experienced boar. I patiently followed its movements, calculating its trajectory. When it came into my line of sight, I fired. The shot was perfect. It dropped right there. Around me, my teammates' gunfire was relentless, cutting down each wild boar with pinpoint accuracy. By noon, the sun was getting harsh. Despite the fatigue, none of us lowered our guard. We continuously updated each other through the radio, warning of any small signs of movement. Suddenly, another wild boar appeared, standing still below us. Perhaps it had gotten separated from the group. Without hesitation, I took my shot. A clean hit. The boar was injured, but its survival instincts kicked in, and it ran for cover. I immediately notified James, who was stationed at the base of the hill, to handle the injured boar. Upon receiving the message, James took up his position and stood still, his sharp eyes scanning the designated area. And there it was, the injured boar limping along. He prepared to deliver the final blow. With calm precision, James raised his rifle and took a single definitive shot. The game was over. Our professionalism was evident in ensuring that no threat remained for the safety of the community. As the evening approached, the hunting dogs seemed to still have energy left. Their barking erupted once more, pushing yet another boar toward me. This time, it would be a quick, direct confrontation. The boar bolted, and I pursued it with perfect timing. A loud shot rang out, and I saw the target stagger, then drop. lifeless, like a puppet with its strings cut. This was the final test of my reflex, marking the perfect end to a rewarding day of hunting. After last night's storm, the jungle was soaked in mist, damp, silent, and eerily still. Early this morning, our team received a critical tip. A massive herd of wild boars had been spotted right near the ranger zone, territory they've never dared to enter before. Weapons in hand, drones and thermal scanners prepped, we headed in without hesitation. But the deeper we moved into the jungle, the heavier the air became. Off in the distance, the low guttural growls of beasts echoed, raising the tension like a slow booster. None of us knew if this hunt would end in triumph, or if the jungle had something else planned for us. Let the hunt begin. We crept along a narrow trail covered in dry leaves, moving slow and quiet. But it didn't take long. A sharp snort broke the silence. The sound of movement. Boars. Close. Our team leader signaled, spread out and get ready. Each of us took position based on the herd's likely path. Moments later, the beasts came crashing through. In perfect sync, our team opened fire. Bullets thundered through the jungle air, dropping several hogs in an instant. It was a perfect opening. Calculated speed, pinpoint accuracy, and flawless teamwork. As the gunfire faded, the leader called over comms, "Hold formation!" Everything was still following the plan. We had set traps along the escape paths, knowing the wild boar's instincts. They scatter quickly when threatened. Our squad split and moved into flanking positions. I covered the western jungle line. Just as expected, 2 panicked boars bolted straight toward me. I fired. 1 down. This wasn't luck. It was preparation, experience, and knowing the habits of the hunted. The second hog made a break for the tree line, fast. I shouted until my voice cracked. "Cut it off, right side!" My teammate sprinted ahead, intercepting the beast just as it emerged from the brush. He raised his rifle silently, led the shot, and pulled the trigger with precision. A single bullet. Perfect hit. Instant takedown. The hunting hound shot off into the bush, noses to the ground. Meanwhile, we followed at a distance, rifles ready and corners locked down. 10 minutes later, barking exploded in the thickets. I sprinted to the sound and saw a hulking dark mass being circled. No hesitation. I steadied my rifle, aimed, and fired. Another clean takedown. As we double-checked the clearing, we caught a soft rustle from a nearby bush. Something was still out there. I motioned for silence and crept toward the sound. From the shadows, a massive boar emerged, slow, calculated. I adjusted my aim through the leaves. When the full body lined up, I squeezed the trigger. 1 shot, 1 kill. In the jungle, patience and position are your best weapons. Just when we thought it was over, we started packing up to head home. But then, a blur of black streaked across the narrow forest trail. The dogs launched into pursuit, pinning the beast against the steep ridge. No time to think. I took aim and fired into the open. There's no luck in this game, only skill and split-second decisions. The morning hunt ended as sunlight filtered through the treetops and our team exhaled in sync. From ambushes to traps to precision dog runs, every tactic was calculated, every shot deliberate. But more than that, we fulfilled our mission, easing pressure on local farmers, protecting crops, and ensuring every team member made it out safe. All operations were conducted within legal boundaries and under permitted regulations.